Good morning and welcome to Between Two Trees, my podcast. I am Jonathan Trees, and this is where we take a few minutes to sit with the stuff that doesn't quite fit into our Sunday morning sermon, but really won't leave me alone during the course of the week. So, this past weekend, I was making Christmas cookies with my grandkids, and if you've ever done this, you know it's less about the cookies and more about the damage control. You could see flour everywhere, frosting on the ceiling in your imagination. But here's what got me. Watching them trying to ice the cookies was just so fun to watch. There were swirls and piles of icing on cookies that didn't even need icing at all. And I'm sure, as I realized, I could have done that myself and made it a little more perfect, though my family would disagree that I could do it any better. Faster, I felt like I could do it cleaner, and possibly even make something with a little less icing on top. But that's not what we were about in the kitchen. I realized I could have just made something a little more dignified if I'd done it myself. Which brings me to what I want to talk about today. Something that hit me while working on this week's message from John 1. It's about how ridiculously undignified the incarnation actually is. We look at it, and today, even as we read it yesterday, the prologue in John 1 is a bit of poetry. It's clean. We've sanitized Christmas in the Christmas story, right? We've got the glowing nativity scenes, the angel choirs, the Mary looking serene in her blue robe. It's all very, very celestial, very holy, and I would say in some cases, very plastic. But here's what I can't get past. God, the eternal Word who spoke galaxies into existence, had to learn how to burp. That offends some of you, right? Well, that's what this text is doing to its original audience. Think about that. The one who said, "Let there be light," and there was light, he had to figure out how to coordinate his tongue and lips to make sounds. He drooled. He had to learn to work with his eye-hand coordination. He would fall down, learning to walk. You know what babies are terrible at? Just about everything at the very beginning. They can't feed themselves, can't control their bodies, can't communicate except by screaming or grunting or crying. And that's what God chose. John says the Word became flesh. And today we rush past that to get to the theology of it all. But the Greek word here, became, means he didn't just appear as flesh like he was wearing a costume. He became it completely and fully. Theologically, fully God, yet fully man at the same time. Which means Jesus had to learn language the same way our kids did. The same way our grandkids are learning to use cookie cutters or icing to ice a cookie. One syllable at a time, one messy attempt at a time. I think we miss the scandal of this text. We're so used to the story that we don't feel how offensive it was or should be. The infinite squeezing himself into the finite. That's not just humility, that's humiliation. But it's humiliation by design, or as I like to say, it's strategic compassion. Because here's what it tells you. God would rather be misunderstood as a baby than remain incomprehensible as the Almighty. He'd rather babble with you than stay silent in perfection. Just like I'd rather have lopsided cookies covered in my grandkids' fingerprints than a perfect dozen that I made alone. You know what this tells me? God doesn't just want to communicate at us or to us. He communicates with us. He enters into the back and forth, the argument, the wrestling. The Word didn't just become flesh to deliver a monologue. He became flesh to have a conversation with us. So here's what I'm sitting with this week. If God was willing to learn your language, if he went from infinite to infant, just so you could understand him, then maybe the problem isn't that God's not speaking. Maybe the problem is we're listening for thunder when he's speaking in baby talk. We want the burning bush, the voice from heaven, the undeniable sign. But God keeps showing up in the undignified places. The stable, the cross, the kitchen counter covered with flour at 7 p.m. on a Saturday evening. The Word became flesh, and He's still speaking your language. You just have to be willing to listen for Him in the mess. That's it for today. Thanks for sitting between two trees with me. I'll see you Sunday.